right. Good morning. What is this? The last Friday in
Last Friday in January?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to the shortest, longest month next week.
exactly. February is the worst.
Yeah, it is the worst. But we thank God for the sun today, and I
Well,
got
snow
back.
this week, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
snow. Not
nice.
too much.
No,
Just-
I don't think
just
it caused
right.
too much havoc.
Yeah.
It's good.
So enjoyed the Grand Canyon trip, and I won't bore you with too many details. Hopefully, if I ever get caught up from people sinning and getting sick and dying, I will post a few pictures and a little explanation. So be patient with me on that. But it's just wonderful to be out in true wilderness and in some place that I know many people just don't have the time or ability to get to. It was really wonderful.
Glad to have him back. It was a busy
Yeah.
week last week.
Good to be back too.
Yeah. All right, so coming up this coming week, February 3rd, traditionally, as many of us know, it's the Feast of St. Blaise, the Blessing of Throats. We will not do individual blessings with candles this year due to COVID, but we will incorporate the Blessing of Throats in the final blessing at daily Mass on February 3rd. So for those of you wondering, that's what we'll do. We did it a couple years ago, actually, when St. Blaise's Day was on a Sunday, and we couldn't possibly bless hundreds and hundreds of throats like that. So we'll just do a generic blessing for everyone, and it still counts. Don't worry, it still
Yes,
counts.
God can do it.
God's grace can work even through time and space.
And you'll notice too around campus, we started this project almost a year ago of getting better signage in our buildings, because a lot of times we'd say, hey, meet me at the sacristy or at the parish office, and people just had no idea what we're talking about who hadn't been here before. So most of those signs have been installed. Some were not quite right and are getting redone. We also finally have the plaque honoring Father Bowles, who the bells are sort of given in honor of him, the outside bells, on the behalf of the 50th anniversary of the parish. So that's on the bell tower now. You can read that, which is kind of nice to have that. So anyway, hopefully that makes visiting the campus easier for people who have never been here, and also as you meet with your groups, makes things a little more clear.
Yeah, always good.
Mm-hmm.
Know where you're going. This coming week is Catholic Schools Week. Big celebration, as many of us know, for our Catholic schools. And so we're grateful immensely for our teachers, our parents who make so many sacrifices to send their kids to Catholic schools, and for our students too. It's not been an easy year to be in school, but as I told the kids right before they left for Christmas, everyone has really just been great troopers throughout this year. So we're grateful for that, and just a good time to celebrate Catholic education and the many blessings that it brings. We'll kick off with our open house this coming Sunday from 9 to noon. You can still sign up for tours, either in person or virtually. That can be done on the parish website. So we hope to see a lot of prospective families.
Mm-hmm.
Come on out and see what our school has to offer. We feel it's a great place to learn and be formed in the faith.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of our Catholic schools and our parish school here. You know, in the summer, it was sort of, there are a lot of people, I guess you'd maybe say naysayers or just extra cautious, who didn't think that we could do learning in person. And Mrs. Buckheit and our teachers made a lot of sacrifices and put in a lot of work to do it well, do it safely. And I really feel like our Catholic schools are kind of leading the way for how to move forward in this very strange time. So really proud of our Catholic schools and our teachers and faculty and staff.
Can't thank them enough.
Mm-hmm. So we have a coat drive coming up. Knights of Columbus help lead that. We ask that you bring new or gently used coats that are clean, adult and children's sizes. That will start next weekend, and there will be a bin over by the Knights of Columbus book rack where you can leave those coats, and they will be given to someone who needs them, who will put them to good use. So I've always been amazed at the good stuff that people bring by here in the last few years. So thank you for being generous in that way.
Yeah. It's not too early to think about Lent. We're only a couple weeks away from Lent, people.
Rejoice and repent.
You thought Christmas happened yesterday. Lent's coming basically tomorrow. Mm-hmm. With Lent comes Lenten Bible study. And we decided we want to do something a little bit different this year. This is actually your idea, which I think is a great idea. Instead of doing like a traditional Bible study, because we won't really be able to have a traditional Bible study in the way we normally have, we're going to do a study of Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. and explore the work of God's grace and redemption through our very fallen state, through some of the characters of that iconic novel, musical, movie. It's taken on all three, really. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be virtual this year. It'll air on Wednesday mornings with me and Thursday evenings with Father Schrader. If you want, you'll be able to watch live on the website for everybody who wants to be able to join. We think it'll be a really great opportunity to maybe learn a bit about a movie you haven't seen, or just to learn about how God can work through our miserableness, our wretchedness.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. So if you want to maybe get familiar with it, you can read the novel. It is 1,400 pages. So if you're into that, you do you. Or you can watch the movie adaptation. There's other films of various musicals that have been put on. It's available on Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, probably the iTunes store as well. And if anybody has a copy of the DVD that they would like to allow the parish to be able to kind of loan out to people, we would sure appreciate it. It's also available at your local library too. Should be available there as well. But yeah, we're really excited about it. Les Miserables is one of my favorite musicals. I love seeing it every time it's at the Muni or anytime it's in town at the Fox. It's got some beautiful music and just some really amazing storylines and just a lot of really good religious themes throughout the play, throughout the musical, I guess.
Whatever form.
The whatever form you take Les Miserables. But I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I think it'll be a great way to enter into the season of Lent and something hopefully relevant for a lot of us.
Yeah, and next week I will put in my column specific ways, I go here to watch it this way so that you don't have to, we've done that work for you.
Yeah.
So next week, and we're giving you advance warning because it is almost a 3-hour film or musical. So we hope that people can watch it and be familiar with it, maybe even watch it twice or read the book before we start the series, because the series will really be just looking at individual characters or virtues that we find there. So that's why we're giving you a little bit of warning so that you and your family can get acquainted with it before Lent begins. Yeah. All right, and then we pray for the repose of the soul of Nina Bigley of our parish. She died just before Christmas, but the Mass to pray for her soul will take place on Monday.
Yeah, would have been her 99th birthday.
Yeah, she's one of our longtime parishioners, so we hope that she's rejoicing with God, and we'll pray for her and for all those who have died in the last couple weeks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this coming Sunday, readings.
Be afraid.
Be afraid. For me, at least, other than talking about GameStop stock, I plan on talking about Jesus' authority. The readings talk about God giving authority to Moses, and also Jesus, his distinctive feature, other than his miracles, being his new teaching with authority. That was what really aroused the hearts of the people that heard him. So I'm going to talk about what it means that we are called to live under the authority of Christ, and unfortunately how, when we sometimes think we know better than Christ or know better than 2,000 years of Catholic thought, it's not good. It's a lot of hubris, you could say. But it's an act of humility, I think, for us to live under the authority of Christ. So I'm kind of going to be talking about that in my homily this week.
Great. Yeah, and I'm something similar. The readings kind of all deal with fear, whether it's a healthy fear of God, which the Israelites, when they finally see God's power and majesty, they actually tell Moses, this is too much. Like, give us a prophet to walk between us and God, because God is too much. So there is a healthy fear of God, but it shouldn't be terror. It shouldn't be where it keeps us from God. And St. Paul tells us not to be anxious, not to be afraid. So I think this weekend's readings also give us a chance to reflect on, do we have that healthy fear or reverence of God? Do we recognize he is God and we are not? Or are we kind of arrogant, like Father Schneider is saying, where we think, God's great, but he's just kind of like another guy, and I can do what I want and whatever I feel is best. That's a very dangerous way to live. Just like when I was in the Grand Canyon, I had to have a healthy fear of heights and rocks falling. I couldn't just say, hey, I'm tough. I don't care about those things, because it wouldn't serve me well. It'd actually be very foolish. So same way with God. We don't want to be afraid of him, but we need to respect and reverence his power, his authority. and His holiness, because if we don't, doesn't hurt God. It ends up hurting us when we don't have that healthy respect and fear of Him.
Yeah.
So
it's like reverential fear versus servile fear, or on the other end of the spectrum, hubris. So
yeah.
it's a
So
great
it's
idea.
things we don't always like to think about, especially in our culture that just sort of makes us the center of the universe. But I think in order for us to become holier and better children of God, things that we want to think about and will actually improve our relationship with God.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, have a great week.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in person or virtually this weekend. And yeah,
God bless.
God bless.